Hey there, IG students. Are you struggling with answering short answer questions in the reading comprehension paper in Exercise 1? Don't worry, you're not alone. Before we start, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on our helpful content. Now, let's get started. Short answer questions can be tricky, but with the right strategies, you can tackle them like a pro. In this video, I'll give you some tips and examples to follow to help you ace those short answer questions in Exercise 1 and show you reading techniques that you can apply to other reading tasks. First, we must understand what we need to do in Exercise 1. You have to read a text and answer a series of questions. The text is approximately 400 to 450 words long and likely includes facts, opinions, ideas, and attitudes. We will use an article in this video, but the text may be taken from a blog or a website. After the text, 5 questions require a short answer, and a final question requires 3 answers. You should write a short answer for each question, either a single word or phrase. So, let's look at the first reading technique to tackle Exercise 1. The first reading technique is skimming, where you only look for the general or main idea. This technique works best with a non-fiction or factual text. Here is part of the article that we will use as an example. First, you should read the title or headings, as these provide a concise summary of the main topic covered in the text. Pay attention to visuals, charts, graphs, tables, and images, as they can convey information more quickly and effectively than text. Then, read the first sentence of each paragraph, as these sentences often introduce the main idea of the paragraph, providing a quick overview of its content. Skimming the text lets you quickly grasp the main ideas and extract information when answering the questions in Exercise 1. Let's look at the full article and skim read the text together. First, we look at the title, which provides a concise summary of the topic, which is to bring beavers back to Scotland. And then we focus on the image showing a beaver, just in case you have never seen one before. It also links to the first sentence, which introduces beavers as large rodents, setting the stage for discussing their habitat and behaviour. Next, this sentence provides context on the decline of beavers in Europe. Here, in this sentence, it gives the cause of the decline in beaver populations. This sentence introduces the topic of beaver reintroduction, highlighting increased interest and widespread efforts across Europe. Here, we learn about the initial challenges the SNH faced before achieving success. Finally, we learn about the positive trend of increasing beaver populations globally and their return to Scotland's wilderness. Skimming helps us quickly grasp the text, saving time when we will need to scan through the text again to answer the 6 questions in this exercise. Let's now look at those questions. Here are the 6 questions. The first 5 questions require a short answer, and the final question requires 3 answers. You should write a short answer for each question, either a single word or phrase. So to be successful, you should make sure you understand what the question is asking. The best way is to look out for keywords in each question. Let's have a go at answering the first one. Here is the first question. We're looking for a date when the beavers died out in Scotland. By skimming the text previously, we know that this paragraph refers to the beavers dying out. Here are 3 references to a date. However, we are looking for when they died out in Scotland. So, the answer to this question is the 16th century, not the 19th century, as this happened in many European countries, and not the 18th century, as this happened in parts of England. You write your answer on the line like this. You only need to write a short answer that provides enough information to answer the question. Let's look at the next question. For question 2, we're looking for a popular type of clothing from which beaver fur was made. If we scan this paragraph, we find that coats and hats were made from beaver fur. It mentions that coats were too expensive for most people, but hats were affordable and fashionable. Therefore, it would suggest they were popular, so the answer is hats rather than coats. Did you get it right? So let's move on to question 3. For question 3, we're looking for a reason why the first application was rejected. If we scan this paragraph, we see the phrase, first application was turned down. You may have to look for synonyms for the keywords in the question. Reject and turn down are synonyms. Looking further in the sentence, we find out why it was rejected. However, it is worth checking the next sentence to see if it was the main reason. But creating floods wasn't considered a significant concern here. So, damage ancient forests would be the correct answer. For this answer to be correct, you must include the verb damage, as just ancient forests doesn't provide the complete details to explain the reason. Remember, you need to be concise when answering short answer questions. So let's move on to question 4. For question 4, we're looking for a group of people who were strongly against the reintroduction. Note the phrase most strongly, which would indicate more than one group against it. If we scan this paragraph, we see that local fishermen and farmers were both worried about the reintroduction. However, it was the farmers who had the strongest objections. Therefore, farmers is the correct answer. You could have written the region's farmers, but just farmers would be enough to be correct. I hope you're finding it easy to find the right answers as we move on to question 5. For question 5, we're now looking for a phrase that the writer uses to describe beavers. This we find by scanning the last paragraph. Luckily, in the text they have used quotation marks to indicate what someone has actually said. Here, we see the phrases eager beaver and natural engineers. The last quote is the one the writer prefers to describe beavers. Therefore, natural engineers is the correct answer. You should make sure you copy the exact phrase, as spelling mistakes are not acceptable as you are taking the answer from the text, rather than writing down your own ideas. Now, let's move on to the final question, which requires more than one answer. Question 6 can be a bit tricky, as you have to scan the whole text to find 3 details. However, you should be familiar with the text after skimming through and scanning the text. So if you know what you're looking for, it should be fairly straightforward. So read the question carefully, as you don't want to waste your time looking for the wrong information. Plus, there are 3 marks for this question. So we are looking for information about the beaver population in places other than Scotland. Let's look at the first half of the text. In the first paragraph, it mentions that beavers live in many parts of the world, so that would be the first detail about the beaver population. So we will put that answer down here. In the second paragraph, we can find 2 more facts. The first one about beavers in European countries, and the second about parts of England. There may be more possible answers in the text, but we have already got 3 details, so there's no need to waste time and look for more. For this exercise, the information was at the beginning of the text, but in other exercises it could be in the middle or at the end of the text. Let's have a recap of the reading techniques. First, you should skim through the text to understand the main idea of the text, read the title, refer to the image, and read the first sentence in each paragraph. Next, you must understand what the question is asking. Look out for keywords in the questions. After that, you should scan the text. Look for keywords in the text used in the question. The text may use the exact words as the questions or use synonyms. Finally, you should be brief and concise when answering a short question. Avoid adding unnecessary details. However, you must make sure you fully address the question. By following these reading techniques, you should be well on your way to mastering how to answer questions in Exercise 1. You should keep practicing, and don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. Thanks for watching, and all the best with your studies.